Hello, hello, and hi. Uh, Welcome everyone to the 52nd Tarcy Talks. Thank you all for coming and joining us tonight. Um, and yeah, uh, I am waiting on because honestly, this is Sir Q's topic. He was the one who brought it up. I was just the one to kind of reframe the problem in a certain sense. So I'm going to stall until he gets here. Uh, okay, so we are, let's see, some things that have happened recently. Let's see, last week. Ano ba nangyari? Anyway, work continues, school continues. For those who are in Pisay, you are now in your Hell Week. I hope that things don't get too heavy for you guys. And even if it is, try to manage, try to tackle it in a very manageable manner. Try not to bite off more than what you can more than what you can chew. I mean, if again, just give the best of what you have right now, and well, that's it. Keep in mind that well, you have as long as you're trying your best, as long as you're doing your best, even if your best right now might not seem that great. Well, I mean, you can't be faulted for doing your best. So it's Hell Week. What else has happened? Honestly, there's not much I can comment on while I'm waiting for Joshua. And no. But okay, so this is
Mhm.
actually Sir Q's topic. Okay, there he's there. Okay, okay. So Sir Q is here, but I'll do kind of an intro, and so this is actually Sir Q's topic, and he we only really kind of finalized it earlier this morning on the trip to school, on the commute to school, and yeah, we were talking about it. What are some points that we would like to hit during that conversation? And as an example, the topic of gacha came out. And for those who don't know, for those who are not familiar with the gacha games, it comes from um, the gachapon in Japan. Uh, it's it's apparently the onomatopoeia for the sound that is made when you have those capsule toys that you're basically kind of gambling when collecting all of them. You insert a coin and then you turn the thing, it makes that gacha sound, and then you get the capsule, and hopefully it has that toy that you want. So it's really luck based, and we're going to talk about uh, one of the worst gacha, basically, as the title says. So, and no, uh, that's pretty much it for the intro. I have terrible internet. Joshua, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Uh,
Okay. Um, I,
no. Hello.
my internet is dying, and OBS is telling me that I am in trouble.
Oh
Um,
no.
one moment. Let's see. Um, it's my internet. Hmm. Hmm. What do I do?
You know what they say about internet? If there's no internet during sync classes, free cut.
I can barely hear you.
Wait. Free-
Okay, I think the worst of it is over for now. I'm back in the green, according to OBS. Okay, I think that's it for now. Anyway, so well, we're going to talk about a topic that is uh, what's what's the right way to describe it? Cancelable? Is that is that the term we're going to use?
Hot topic.
Topic. Okay. So hang on, let me just change scenes. Can you take over, Josh, with the talking? I will just manage OBS a little.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Depending on where you are right now in the world, it's now 8:37 Philippine Standard Time. The weather is hot outside, super hot. But regardless whether or not it's hot or not, or where you are, we wish you a pleasant evening. So with that, it's ready for us, me and Sir Tarcy. We're already now at episode 52. By now it should be what would you call this? Season 3? Season 2?
Yeah,
Season
depend. Well, full season is 24 episodes normally, so I guess this would be the beginning of season 3, if ever.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you for joining us. I know it's been hard to think of topics that you could relate to, but these are topics like what Mark said. These are topics that we come to think about off the off the bat or along the road whenever we drive or anything that we think that might be um, eye catching. Also, something that's more of a clickbait title as much as possible. But honestly, this is a hot topic that we were afraid that maybe we shouldn't invite as many people so that we don't get as canceled as much. But anyway, since we're here, it's something that I think a lot of students can relate to. not just with the gacha system, but more particularly what the gacha system we're going to talk about, that we made a parallelism with
Mm,
as to, because this is something that a lot of our students that we all know in common. So
mm,
we can't name drop. We can't name drop it. I think because apparently we have teachers that also listen to us. Hi everyone that listen to us, that views our VODs, that views our playback replays, and uh they do enjoy it now. So we keep the flow. We don't change anything but one so far. But anyway, since the title does mention gacha and Mark was able to give a very great background as
mm.
to the
Well,
history of gacha.
let's switch it up na siguro. Parang let's start with your original approach and then we'll bring up the gacha again later. Para
Oh, wait. But I wanted.
Mm,
Oh, okay. Uh, sige. Okay. My original approach.
mm,
Nung unang panahon, nung no, it's so hard because I can't think of a segue that would be able to that could easily relate it to. But I guess what are the animes that you watch? Masyado obvious ba yun pag ganun?
Hindi pa
No.
naman.
Okay. Maybe first things first. I think I can relate to that question as well. But I've been watching a lot of anime recently.
Mm,
Ever since I'm done with the bar, I had this problem adjusting to doing things that I like because I feel like I should be doing something more important or I should be busying myself with review when in fact the exam has already been over. So I've started a lot of anime. Some of them Sword Art Online. A lot of people are dumping me on it because I watched that. But I've finished season one of AOT, Attack on Titan. Really good, in fairness. One of the it's one of the most appealing anime I've seen so far, except the gore. The gore, no. Like I'm always like this, and I watch it in a watch party, so they actually see me turning away, covering my eyes whenever it's the gore part. But uh, it's one of the animes that I could not relate to. It's not like we have titans out there destroying the capital, but more on I could try to relate to our topic right now. How about you? And also our viewers right now. Are there any anime that you're watching right now?
I don't watch
So
anime.
I what? Oh yeah.
Not
Well, what do
anymore.
you do? What was the last anime that you watched?
Last anime I watched, I think it was uh, Your Lie in April, Shigatsu.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
Wasn't it
But
like high school? College naman.
no, grabe naman. Hindi. It came out. I was already teaching then.
Ah, okay. Okay, maybe not relatable to our topic right now. But one of the favorite storylines that I always love when it comes to anime or any video game that I play are always the ones that involve an academy like setting. We do have school settings such as games like Persona. Persona has a game setting, right?
Hmm.
Sorry, a school setting. What other animes that have school settings?
Um. Oh, ano. Technically, Angel Beats. Did you watch that?
No. What
Uh.
was it? What's that?
Uh.
What
Well,
time? Was that high
no,
school?
no, that came out a long time ago. I watched it. Though I watched it a long time after it first released. I think I watched it in college. Though it came out probably early college or late high
Early
school.
college.
Mm.
I see. Well, like
PNHA, ano,
high school setting.
Boku no Hero is a popular one right now.
What's Boku no Hero?
The
My Hero
superhero,
Academy?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know the Japanese title. Is it good?
Well, I mean, I read the manga. I don't watch anime.
Oh, some people here are saying chat. Have you watched Bunny Girl Senpai? I've never
No,
heard of it.
I I've
Sounds
seen.
dubious.
I remember reading the first chapter of the manga. That's it. And,
Really?
but
Huh.
it started out as a light novel, if I recall, and I think the manga came after, though it didn't really take off. it's more popular as a light novel, and then it became an anime.
When I raise the topic about school, Nina says you can take Cirque out of the school, but you can't take the school out of Cirque. I know it's just that my high school and my college, I didn't get much to experience the usual high school drama, the high school tropes, and so on and so forth. And the only way I got to live those tropes were actually through teaching Pisay. I got to see the cliques, the cliches, the tropes, the people who stick together, and so on and so forth. So, and also anime and games really helped me a lot understanding these tropes because again, I didn't much have much of a childhood, a relatable childhood. So that's why I always wonder, is this how it is really in high school? So those were the things that I really loved playing. Persona. Persona had a really good high school setup because aside from the like Persona 4, Persona 3, Persona 3 had the at midnight when the clock strikes 12, that's the dark hour, and then they have to do some ghost hunting stuff. But the
Okay, I am losing connection again.
oh no,
Uh, Give me. Okay, I'm back.
did
Uh,
narinig ba yun sa stream? No. Nawala ba sa stream?
I have no idea. I can't tell. Uh,
So I gave the concept of persona with regard to the high school setup that although there is a combat system at the evening and that they had to save the world during the dark hour, the most of the chunk of persona that really appeals to me is the social interaction part that happens during the daytime, right?
hmm. Spoiler, by
That's
the way.
of course right.
For for those ano.
Spoiler. No, it's not a spoiler. It's part of the story talaga. But yeah, there was also another anime that was during our younger years. I think I was high school back then. Uh, Ghost School Q. What was it? Do you remember that in
Ah,
Animax back then?
wait. I think you're combining two different
Those
anime.
two different one. Detective School Q
Yeah, that's
and
it.
High School
Something like
Ghost
that.
High School.
So
And it was
Ghost
really
at
great because
school. Ghost at school.
Ghost at
Ghost.
School. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
It was really great because not only did I understand the culture of Japanese setting, but there were a lot of uh high school not relationships, the interaction, social cues when it comes to the high school setup that was established in the anime that helps me relate to them or helps me understand how to relate supposedly in high school. So let us know in the comments on what were the animes that you can think of that you might have watched during that had this high school setup that you really like. Gakuen Handsome. Would you know that?
No, actually, I'm trying to recall
Oh,
a few. So there's, uh, uh, you remember, Gakuen Alice?
no,
I,
I
I, re-
didn't watch that,
I
I
remember
think.
it was me and Nathan that were kind of into it.
Really?
Mm.
Oh,
Then, hmm?
I have a student that keeps on saying Dagonropa. She's not here right now. I think she's
Uh,
absent. But is that a high school setting?
I think they use sort of a high school setting. Nathan would know. Parang
Okay.
alam ko they kind of like take a high school classroom and then kind of put them in a kind of twisted high school setting or something like that. I can't remember.
Oh, Nina says she did read Gakuen Alice.
Hmm.
There's Nina also says Hyuka and Maid Sama.
Hyoka
I
and
have
Maid Sama.
no, I don't recognize.
Hmm. No, I mean all of these are high school settings, but you're kind of targeting a specific kind of high school, right?
Yes. Now come shift to another particular thing that I really like because there was one that was the normal high school setup. Then there was another thing that I found out, which was very much common in games as well as in anime, which was the academy type setup. So these are academies. What would you differentiate? How would you differentiate an academy from a high school. So for me, my understanding of what an academy is something is that it's created or established in order for a specific purpose, right? For example, what were the examples that I gave? Oh, if you watch Ruby, Ruby was the right, Mark. Back
Mm,
me up here.
right.
Ruby,
Yeah. Go.
the was it Western animation?
Yeah,
It's not.
it's a
It's
Western
not Japanese.
animation.
It's a Western animation internet series that it's like a high school setup, but this school was more targeted into creating hunters. Was it? Am
Mm-hmm.
I right? It's been a long time since I stopped because I wanted to finish the series before I continue it. But yes, hunters, because back then there was a need for people. There was a need for hunters to hunt down. What were they called? What were the monsters called?
Grim.
Grim, yes, the Grim. Oh my gosh, the black dude, not black dudes. We need to cancel that. The black creatures. Oh my gosh, that one, the Grim. Other setups like games that I got to play, that there had an academy setup, which I really played out well was Valkyria Chronicles. Now, aside from me being the uh how do you call someone that the grinds that really grinds games in order to finish the final battle as easy as possible. I really love that setup because I'm not sure if you recognize Valkyria Chronicles because would you say it's an old game?
It's pretty old, but the anime was more recent, so maybe they know the anime.
So part of it was that there was a war ongoing in this particular part of the world, and that they had created an academy to recruit to conscript men and women to fight in the front lines to because it was focused on a they were a peaceful nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until they were attacked.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like Avatar. And in order to push back the enemies, they created this academy in order to train the villagers or train regular citizens to be part of the regular army to fight back. And it was a really good story because it showed the story of a farmer, showed the story of uh was Valkyria Chronicles 1? He was a botanist? Was he a
Mm-hmm. Yes,
he
botanist.
was a botanist and he became a captain of a squad. Captain, right?
I can't recall.
Then the second one was a baker.
Mm-hmm.
Then uh the girl was like just a regular townsfolk. Tama ba?
Which
Baker
one?
or girl yung breaker. The second Valkyria Chronicles. So in relation to academy type settings, do you know of any anime that has this kind of academy set up? Because I'd like to
Honestly,
watch.
a lot
I'd
of
like to
the
know also.
a lot of the things that were mentioned. So, the the school mentioned in Charlotte's was the school full of supernatural people. I think not all. So maybe not Charlotte. BNHA. So that's a school for superheroes. So yun nga,
Ooh,
parang the goal is to raise superheroes. Um, then same with Gaku and Alice. So you have basically raising superheroes so that they can form the core of society in the future when they grow up. So yeah, that's those are a few.
okay. So I'm trying to see how I would segue in a way that doesn't sound so boring. Kasi. But kasi I really love those because part of the storyline in these anime is that the determination in relation to why they joined up or why they signed up in such an academy when they know that it's usually life or death scenario or they need to do it for state and country. They have this benevolent reasons. I'm using that word benevolent from well from our last stream, but it's a higher cause that was called upon them in order to take it upon themselves and enroll in such an academy, whether forced or not forced. But it was great because you see as their interactions go about, it seems like they're normal people. Although they have this higher calling. They're goofy people. They're still the tropes that you see in regular anime shows, in most TV series that you see, and it's still there. These aren't like super excellent people, or like the superhero one. Would you say that
Hmm?
they're kind of normal aside from their superpowers? Would you say
Yeah,
that
I
they're
mean
kind of
they're pretty
normal?
much parang, basically everyone in the world has powers, I think, or most of them. It's just that they're in that particular school so that they can use powers for public service, basically.
See, no, no, that's a little bit too much on the nose in relation to what I was gonna say. No, no, but the reason why I wanted to raise this is because academies actually do exist in the real world. And one of them was actually something that I almost applied to back then when I was in high school. I almost applied to the Philippine Military Academy because I had a military background during high school when I took up CAT. Then I said, why not take it a step forward and try PMA? It just so happens I didn't have the proper requirements at that time. So I had to forego the exam date, which I'm glad because I actually approached my military career in a different way, which was the Charlie method or by way of ROTC. And that kind of did feel like an academy setup, especially when I had to take up my military science 4 outside of college and in the actual military institutions. So for a whole summer, I was with the Philippine Navy and I had trained with them in order to finish my military training to become a commissioned officer. And it was very different, but relatable. Sorry, it was a very different lifestyle as to who I was as a high school student, as a college student. But it was very much also relatable to the animes that I would watch. And you see here, there are things that, like, it's a purpose driven lifestyle. You know that despite all the hardships, I even had a punishment back then that I would do. Um, what was that? You
Burpees.
burpees, yeah,
Mm.
burpees one to sawa, and I was like doing burpees for 2 hours, 3 hours. Like I would stop in a bit, but pag nahuli ako, tutuloy ko pa rin yung burpees. And that was one of the worst punishments that I ever got. But I understood why. I did something really bad that warranted such a punishment. I would have accepted like 1 to 500 or 1 to 1,000 burpees, but 1 to sawa. Oh, that was really hard for me. And that's the thing. Sometimes these academies have these very unreasonable setups, something that is very different from what is normal, something that is different, very different from what we're used to. But in the end, you understand why it was necessary for you to go through those hardships. And that's why one of the things that I wanted to drive, which I really wanted to talk about in school and with homeroom classes or with re- regular students that I would get to chica with, is that I feel like Pisay is kind of like an academy rather than a normal high school. Now, understandably, we are a premier. What was it? We got the copyright for the tagline. We are a premier science high school.
Um,
You got the email right? You
there's
didn't?
an
Did you
email.
get yeah, there was an email that it was actually we got approved for the use of how many years? I think 40 years or 10 years. That we can
I
use that
didn't know that.
tagline that we are a the Philippine Science High School is a premier science high school. Something else. uh, but the way how it's trained, no, not the way how it's trained. Yeah, I think I can say it for that. The way how the setup is, as well as the objectives are, it feels really much like a an academy. That it's a government run institution where it expects young, young, young minded. uh, sorry,
They are young.
Oo nga eh, what was it? Bright-minded young people to train in a specific curriculum in order to achieve the objective of the state. And like a military institution, you have to forego all your personal objectives, your personal goals in order to meet the objective of the common, the objective of the state. And I kind of feel it feels so sad when I think about it because not a lot of them realize that the reason behind why they're doing this. When in fact, it's something that they have to know at the get go because it's almost as though there's a path already laid down for them to take that they can only take, set up for them, and they're giving up their liberties. In the military, you're actually required to recite the military professionalism, where oh my gosh, I forgot how it goes, but you give up your you give up your lifestyle, the way how you dress, the way how you eat, the way how you conduct yourself, and that you all do it for the good of all. Something along those lines. I used to memorize that. I can't remember why I forgot it. Uh, but it goes for same for Pisay. It goes with along with the contract. Now, what are your thoughts about this before I continue? Because I know this is my topic, but again, I'm asking help with regard to this.
I don't want to jump the gun because I think more of my ideas are relevant down the line in discussion. Pero,
We can jump the gun if you want. Do you want to jump the gun?
no. Okay, so, well, honestly, so you mentioned things like, okay, you're foregoing personal freedom, some personal conveniences or freedoms when it comes to these situations. And you're joining this academy, or because it was built for a particular purpose, and kind of, so the people going there are, in a certain sense, I suppose, very noble in the sense that they want to, they align with the ideas of that institution, and therefore they're going with it. If ever, I'm going to go with a more, I suppose, sober approach in a sense na mutual exploitation in a certain, so you have an institution that wants something, and you have people who want something out of the institution, and they're both using each other to their ends. So,
okay, before we get there, I okay, now I get why you're saying that. It's bandang dulo part you're saying. Okay, my question first. My question
okay.
in relation to this would be: is it bad to think? Can I say the word Pisay, or should we
I
just refer
mean,
it to our school?
we're talking about Pisay anyway, so
Okay,
you know.
is it bad to refer to ours to Pisay as an academy? To refer it to as one as an academy?
Okay, the formal definition of an academy is,
Oh shoot! Really, you really searched it?
basically it's an institution that provides specific training. So,
Oh really?
so that's why you have police academy, training to be a police. That's why you have
I didn't think of
particular.
police academy. Weird. Oh nga, no?
So if we're talking about academy, so what is the specific thing that PSI is training students for? A career in STEM. So it makes sense that it can be called an academy because part of the contract is that they will eventually enroll in a STEM college course.
Now, my question to you is that most academies are created for a specific scenario, meaning to say there's a specific objective. You're trained with a special skill set in order to meet that objective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And usually these are done when you're in at a college level because you're already at a mature age that you can make a choice, that you know where you're headed. You know that's your end goal. Therefore, you have these institutions such as um, PMA is a college level institution. Mean to
Mm-hmm.
say, after you finish high school, you can enroll into PMA. Police Academy, some offer it after high school, but most of the career, also as military, some of them offer courses after you finish college because you're definitely sure you're going to take it up. Would you say priesthood would be also kind of like an academy?
Well, I mean, if we're using that definition, the seminary can be an academy.
In this scenario, usually it opens up as late as how late you should. Sorry, as early as how early? Meron bang
Uh,
college pa lang?
Entering the seminary?
Yeah.
Honestly, there are kind of like seminary-oriented high schools. Na parang,
Really?
well, I mean, no. They don't take any vows while they're still, while they're minors. But parang they're already taking some studies aligned with, ecclesiastical studies. But,
We
yun nga,
had
parang,
we had
what?
CLE in up to grade
Yeah,
at
that's
up
not.
to
That's
that's not different. That's different.
that's a basic, that's being a basic
Oh,
Catholic.
really? Okay, okay, okay. Even all the way up to fourth year high school?
Yeah.
That's basic Catholic? Okay, okay. Okay, so would you name drop what those
Hmm.
institutions are?
Ano nga ba? I'm not too familiar. Parang, I know that there are some, I guess, but I'm not too sure because I remember seeing some, when I'd go to Claret for morning mass sometimes. There was a time that I would see basically high schoolers, but they were already wearing, cassocks. So basically indicating that they were seminarians. At,
What's
obviously,
Casox?
the long, flowing,
The
uh, or at
altar
least the
boy?
Roman,
The altar boy
well, no, there's
outfit?
a sort of okay, pero at least they're wearing the Roman collar. The,
Roman collar. Oh, the Chinese collar?
well,
Is that Chinese collar?
more of the Chinese, more of the white thing that bridges so that's the Roman
Oh,
collar.
okay, okay. Okay, okay. Oh, that's what it's called. See, we learned something new in these Tarcy Talks. Okay, now the point that I was driving at is that if you have these institutions such as PMA, um, military academies, police academies, and so on and so forth, seminaries, but they start at a level which is much older. I mean to say, they have already chosen what path they're going to take. Would you say Pisay as an academy as well?
Hmm.
It feels like, would you say that it's a bit unfair considering at how early an age they have to make that decision in their life?
I mean, depends on what kind of unfairness are we talking about. Is it
Oh, there are levels of unfairness.
No,
I
no,
didn't know that.
kasi parang I don't know. I'm thinking about it, and okay. So can we say that it's unfair that we're asking someone who's young, who has not yet really any grasp of what he wants to do with his life, to sign that contract, which will probably influence a lot of his future decisions? Then
Sounds like a
most
yes. What you're saying.
mostly unfair. But
But
I mean, at the same time, parang I mean, it's not like it's not like for example, the other scholarships that you get in college, in which you are may tali ka. Is what
really,
sabi mo?
okay, no,
Na
those are the things that I'm not familiar with. I did get a scholarship when I was with ROTC because I was serving, and it was good that they offer because it came later on. Parang
mm,
I did the service first, then they offered me the scholarship. When I see other scholarships, apparently they're offered the scholarship first, then they have to perform a service afterward.
mm,
What are those kinds of? Because I'm not that familiar with those scholarships.
I mean,
I think I wasn't that smart for to apply for one, but
the DOST scholarships, most of them involve a return of service, depending on how long you avail of their scholarship. So
such as
uh,
what would be like 20 lashes or what would
return of service. So,
yeah, what was
however,
the return of service?
I think for the OST scholarship for yung what's the proper term for the OST SEI scholarship? Is that the right term? Anyway, so it's however long you avail of the scholarship, it's half the years. Or it's half of that in yung return of service mo. So if you were a scholar for 4 years, then you have to have a return of service for 2 years.
In what
Uh,
form? Like, what is that return of service? You have to
Working in the
do what?
Philippines. That's pretty much it. Anong,
Okay, so as general as just work in any industry in the Philippines,
well, I think
or does it have the specific?
I'm actually not too sure. I mean, I didn't use the scholarship, so I'm not too keen on the specifics either.
Would anyone know actually in chat who had availed of the DOST scholarship? What does it say as to what you get? Sorry, what you have to do in the end? I mean, this is in relation to what we're going to talk about then later on. But I'm really clueless about what those scholarships are. Because like whenever let's say a congressman, a senator would offer scholarship, may tali ba yun? You were mentioning that usually most scholarships are conditional.
Mm. So Ali says in chat na it seems that it has to be in your field. So
Mm.
you can't graduate biology and then work as a singer and call that return of service apparently.
But what if you graduate physics, but I'm going to use you, but
Hmm.
your service is comsci.
I suppose that would be a breach of the return of service.
Fudge. That's why you didn't take the scholarship?
No,
Or
no,
did you
more
have
of like
money?
I didn't bother. Parang given kasi there's an economic bracketing, so uh, rather than have to pressure myself to have to perform every semester, parang wag na lang.
Oh, so Nina says it has to be part of your field.
Mm.
Huh, okay. So you can't pay it back. Kasi for me, I was lucky dahil I pay it back during this weekends because that's when we work ROTC. And then after I graduate, tapos na. Wala na akong obligation. But sucks to be the DOST scholars, I think. But I mean, if you're headed for that field, why not? At least you got free education. But can't you like be a librarian or custodian for the school to pay
I
it
don't think so.
off? I don't know. uh, I also know that other schools abroad, when you apply for a scholarship, they also have an obligation for you. That's why I'm very curious what is it? Because for Pisay, the obligation tied up with what is offered to them, to our Pisay scholars, is that they're required to have a STEM course. Now, in this relation, is this too much for a high school student?
Are you asking me, or is
That's the
that
question.
rhetorical?
It can be rhetorical. I don't know.
Is it too
No, but
much?
oh wait.
Mm-hmm.
From for you as a PSI graduate, but also
Mm-hmm.
for our audience. Again, I'm a clueless person here. I took up arts. Yes, I took up arts, Bachelor of Arts. Science? Arts, Bachelor of Science. Sorry, Bachelor of Arts. Um in college. The doctor in my title is a Juris Doctor. So whenever someone in the plane goes, "Is there a doctor here?" I'd raise my hand and offer notarial will and services. I but aside from that, that's why I'm asking you. As a high school student, would it feel like it's too constricting, or is it too unfair to be tied up to take up a science course at the end of a 4-year, supposedly back then in your time 4 years
Mm,
lang, but this time it's 6 years. It feels like you're just adding 2 years, but those are two crucial years in your
mm,
pubescent, young adulthood life.
mm.
I I'm running out of words. Uh,
Again, it depends, eh? Because I mean, if you're the kind of person who is already geared towards going to the sciences, then I mean, so what? I mean, I'm going to the sciences anyway. Might as well get a free education out of it. But
okay, so that
for
was
those,
Mr. Tarsy's thinking.
that's
But
me.
for those in chat, feel free to share whatever you have, because again, this is a safe space. I don't think we have judgy. Do we have judgy people in our community? We
Only
call it a
me.
community. We're less than 500. Uh, we're more of a household. Let's call it bahay ni Kuya Tarsi.
No, no, that's
Just kidding.
weird.
uh, BKT, yeah, that's weird. But yeah, I don't think we have people that judge too much in the comments. I mean, based on the anime that you suggest, I think you can already tell how pretty awesome our people, the community are. Uh, but yun nga eh, because I'm pretty sure people I do talk to, students I do talk to, and those that had actually graduated feel that they didn't. It's not something that they would have wanted to go through, especially when you have stories of scholars that would rather opt out from school
Mhm.
because it's not what they had wanted.
Mhm.
So, yun nga, so for Mark, he said, I'm into science, so why not? Right? Tama ba?
Well,
Like what was your goal back then?
more of I didn't want to risk my future on an arts course. Parang,
What?
I mean, honestly, if parang money were completely no object, uh, I would have probably tried going into creative writing or journalism. But I mean, I wasn't confident I could make money like that. So, yeah, parang the more stable, I suppose, was the sciences.
Oh, okay. Auxilio says, although some people discover their passions in life during Pisay, and ang sad na di nila pwede basta-basta magpalit ng course kasi contract.
Hmm.
Oh, that's true because it's your development years that you get to figure this out. Would you say helpful yung mga clubs such as Bravura? Because it makes you feel even worse. Because I'm pretty sure we have Bravura students here. That they discover their passion in music, but they're stuck in a STEM course. What are our other clubs and activities that are not STEM
Alianti.
related? Alyanti, our jocks of school, are super cool. They're kind of the cool dudes, cool people that even ako nahiya ako lumapit sa kanila. Oh, actually, it's Alyanti, the one that feels like Mean Girls group, but they're kind of nice, but they have this Mean Girls vibe. The dancers crew. What was their name?
Sagala.
Sagala, yeah, Sagala. Um, it's not STEM related. It's not STEM related, right?
No.
And there's another cool group, up and coming jock that feels like they're a jock group. Keeps on winning championships. Debate. What's the name of that group? uh, why am I forgetting these things? What's the name of debate?
I don't know. It's
Invictus.
not
Invictus.
Invictus.
Invictus. There. That's not STEM, right? Also not STEM.
No.
So you see the passion that they push out. That apparently these are rock stars in their field. I guess you can say. Yes, even Bravura. You were the advisor, Bravura, at one time.
Yeah.
Uh, how does it feel to see their passion in one thing, yet when they come to their classes in STEM, it doesn't translate as much in that scenario?
I mean, I feel like it's not really. I mean, it depends. Like on the parang. I mean, if I see that a student is, yun nga, parang they're passionate about the club, but have absolute no interest in STEM, parang it's definitely concerning. Pero parang, I mean, you can have passion for multiple things. Parang you can enjoy the sciences and at the same time the arts. So uh, yeah, again, it's kind of depends on the student situation.
Right. Now, before you get cut off by Sir Tarsis internet, we're not here to convince you to, go to Biak na Bato and bring out your contracts and tear it apart and say kalayaan.
Mm.
I think that's what they said. I'm pretty sure that's what they said. Anyways,
Parang hindi.
ano ba? Ano ba sinigaw nila? I don't know. Oh my gosh. Again, I'm good in world history, not Philippine history. I got teach Philippine history. But martial law really happened, okay? For everyone here, martial law happened. Just to be clear. But yun nga, what we wanted out of this talk is that how do we get to understand we're here, we're stuck. This is the thing that we're at. Because like the anime shows and the games that we watch when it comes to academies, they come from a reason out, some of them out of necessity, some of them out of just for the fun of it. I watch AOT, Attack on Advance on Titan, no, Attack on Titan, and Eren. Eren was out of his passion to join the Scouts. But you have someone like Anne. Anne was her name. Anne.
I
Alice.
didn't.
Anne.
I didn't watch and I didn't read the manga, so you're on your own.
Okay. Or our our people in chat. The female Titan in season 1. Am I spoiling? No, it's not spoiler. I meant considering that it's been out a long time ago. But the female title, she was just. Oh, actually, I can't comment on that because I'm not even sure on the reason why she joined because it has to be said in the following seasons. Okay, wrong example. Uh, um, oh, Mikasa in Attack on Titan also joined because she wanted to protect Eren. I think again, I'm stuck at season one. Uh, Annie, it's Annie. Uh, what about other? Can you help me out? Other anime that you know? Academy setup. Ruby.
uh,
What was the reason for Ruby?
hmm?
Because of the sister?
No,
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 because of the parents.
she was scouted by the headmaster.
Ah, yeah, right. Because of her talent,
Mm.
and
And she really
their
wanted.
parents also.
She really
Yeah, she
wanted
really
to.
wanted. Okay, some people. Some examples that they didn't want that they were forced to join. I guess
Mm,
Valkyria Chronicles because there was a war.
hmm
I mean, no one really wants to actively join military service. Well, there are some, but the necessity of war brings them to be part of that academy. What other weird reasons are there? I'm trying to think if there are. But
mm,
if you put into in example, uh, in the Pisay, in the Pisay, in in Pisay, um, not everyone chose it because of their love of STEM, like Sir Tarcy. Was it love of STEM? Just didn't want to
uh,
end up in a course that you didn't want to.
I mean, I was okay with that. I mean, I was okay with my, my STEM grades. Parang it was, what was like what I was good at. Pero honestly, it was more because it's the high school Papa went to, so parang sounded interesting, sounded fun. So
So out of
yeah,
tradition. Yeah.
yeah.
It
Mm,
sounds like out of tradition
mm,
ish. Kind of. Legacy? No, tradition. But sometimes some people join out of poverty because they don't have the means to send their children to school. They would try to apply to all schools that has a scholarship. It just so happens Pisay has a huge contract that ties them too. What are the other reasons actually? Did you have an interview in Pisay?
interview. Yeah, I remember. There was an interview. I
Would they
think.
ask why you want to join Pasay?
I
Or is
honest.
that too obvious a question?
I only remember being in that room and an interview being conducted. I don't actually remember what was said. So
Okay, for our again, I'm so sorry, chat. Sir Tarcy's memory is really in the golden years, I
that
guess.
was 16 years ago. 17.
But for you guys, that might be a little bit closer, considering graduate lang ng iba, or some of them are still here in Pisay. Do you still remember what the interview was, and if there was a question, why did you choose Pisay, and what was your answer to that? Because sometimes you might have been coached to bullshit the interview in a way to say so that you can get the slot, right? You'd have parents to coach you and say, okay, anak, sabihin mo to, mahal ko ang math. Nagko-compute ako kung ilang newtons ang kailangan. No, that's physics. Ang kailangan para ma-shoot ko yung bola. Something like that. I mean, did you relate that much to the ad ng Pisay? That oh, the basketball ad, and what was the other ad?
The chemistry ad.
The chemistry ad. And we even have someone here in our chat that was actually part of the DOST advertising program. Basta na feature A Life of a Scholar. Kasama siya dito sa chat natin. Mark, read out the comments because my monitor's so far away from me.
Okay, so Sophia doesn't remember an interview. Kurt remembers saying because it was free. So honest.
Diba?
And Ali says there was an interview with Ma'am Andres and YPSI.
From Gino? Really?
Let's see. And Nathan clarifies that the interview doesn't really kind of get you a slot. Parang it's more of a formality at the point and getting to know the person who actually passed the NCE.
Oh, okay. Huh. All right.
Ali says
Okay.
that she said that she wanted to become an astrophysicist.
Oh, that's what you said. What's your course now? Okay, not to put you on the spot. Okay, whatever course you might have chose, again, you change it, or maybe you can answer because to prove the point that you changed from who you were back then 6 years ago to what choice you might be interested when you graduate or when you're applying for college. Now, how do we tie that up with the title we have right now? Do we just have the
No,
title?
no, no.
Wala
Well,
lang
keep
na
going.
dyan.
Keep going. I'll interject with parang this was my that was my analogy. So keep going, and I'll know what to interject.
Honestly, it was an aha moment while we were walking along the path of the driveway to Pisay. Like when we hit the flagpole area. Oh nga no. But now I can't remember how we came up to that.
No, no.
Okay.
Okay. So, eh, just to push the conversation along forward, into the next segment, I suppose. Um, so we now have people who have various intentions of going to the institution, and we have the institution, the academy, that has a particular goal in which they want to raise students who are proficient in science and technology, in STEM, and eventually have a career in STEM. So you have, and ties into that earlier question I asked, in which Joshua had me backtrack kasi even though I said it's a later on question. So you have these two people with their own goals, and they're kind of using each other. So you have people, you have the students using the school as a means for free education, and despite their various goals and intentions, you have the school using the students and trying to mold them in a way so that they will eventually choose a career in STEM.
Is it right to say the word use the students? Is there a proper word or is it really like that? We just have to accept that the government is actually using the students.
Well, okay. Use. I mean,
Manipulating.
manipulate.
It's not like we're brainwashing you to like STEM. We give
Mm,
it as is. Like it or not, it's really up to you. But
mm,
I think use really is the best term because they hope to they hope to churn out after that 6 years, 4 years, 6 years of Pisay, you'd have scientists.
mm. And that's kind of at the point in our conversation where I said that Pisay is the worst gacha. So, okay, take a look at it from the perspective of Pisay. And why is it the worst gacha? So, you have a bunch of, you are paying for the education of thousands of students who are receiving top-notch education on the mere hope.
Would you say top notch? Would you say top notch? That's the thing.
Or,
Would you say top notch?
well, I
Yeah,
mean,
kind of.
the best that they can afford with
Yeah.
with the budget available, on the hope that maybe these people will become STEM, uh, uh, will
STEM
work in the
student.
STEM field and contribute to the economy of the Philippines. That's the hope, and it's the worst gotcha ever because I mean it might not happen.
It
There's not even a pity system. Parang out of every 90 students, parang there's going to be one na sigurado. Okay, this guy is definitely going to be a leader in the field in the Philippines in the future. No, you don't have that. And at least in Genshin, for example, parang you see the shooting star and you see okay, no, sorry, that's a 4 star. So wala akong 5 star na. Parang you know how long the animation for Pisay is? 6 years. So you're watching that star fly across the screen for 6 years, and then parang, okay, is this gonna pan out? Is this gonna pan out? Ups, ups, ups. No, no, sorry, that's a miss.
so you're looking at yellow, yellow, yellow. Oh, why is it going? Why is it going purple, purple? No, blue. No, no, no. Not to say that it's because Thor said 5 star full depression poggers. But yeah, it happens. Like you might actually create students that in the end might actually hate them in the end. So there's no guarantee system. There's no it's really up to it's really up to chance on whether or not the student will actually like them or not. Pretty sure that in an pubescent, again, young adulthood stage, when a person is rebellious, they'd kind of hate it if it's forced upon them,
Mm.
right? So that's the thing. Worst gacha system. But if you look at it, if you compare, okay, I'm the statement I'm going to say next is in no way, you know, forgiving. I guess the word is forgiving. What's another word for forgiving?
I think you need to say it first before I can come up with some a
Okay.
word that will.
Because if you compare it with other institutions where they really have to force you because you're going to be stuck in that profession throughout your life, such as military, sure ball, you have to take up a military life after that. Um, and everything else. Here in Pisay, your service is only you're not required to serve, you're not required to employ, you're not required to pay like part of your employment fee, like your first salary to back to the state. No. All they ask for you is that they although it's kind of a big ask, they ask from you is that you take up a STEM course. Is it forgivable? Kind of. Like at least it's kind of related. Sometimes it doesn't match with your personal goals. But if you look at it the whole perspective, the Philippines do need scientists if we are to progress.
You,
So
yeah, you got it right the first time. It was does need.
yes,
The Philippines
okay,
does need.
that's neat. Again, again, arts and not even grammar. I didn't take English. Anyways, so in relation to that, it's a weird system that Pisay is really gambling on. It's really gambling on because you have to understand how much the contract is. How would you know how much? Okay, anyone in in chat, I'm pretty sure you might have contemplated how much you're going to pay if you had to forfeit Pisay. We didn't have the luxury for that because Mark's a fighter. He really didn't want to give up. Nathan, tumino siya nung grade 7. Babagsak na dapat siya pero tumino siya. And he was able to graduate. And none of them decided to quit halfway. But for those that had actually contemplated of quitting Pisay or had actually quitted, would you know how much the cost to? 50 per year. What? Okay.
So,
Only? Would you say 50 per year only? Because we have
yeah,
high
I'm
claret
searching
is
at.
actually very expensive.
Okay, so according.
260
Hello.
Oh, comments say 260,000 pesos. Sorry. Align ng monitor ko eh. 240,000 for the whole 6 years. Ooh. Divided by
50K per year.
6. 60.
Let's see.
No, that's not 60. Wait, what? Again, hindi ako nagmath. What's 240 divided by 60? Up by 6. Mark, help
Hmm?
me out.
240 divided by
34.
6?
2 divided by 6.
4. Hello? You there? Okay, my
What
internet's
the
out again.
Tarcy, hello?
Yeah, okay, I'm back. So 240 divided by 60, that's 4.
6
Huh?
years.
Then that's
240,000 divided by 6 years.
that's 4.
4, okay. Everyone already answered the chat. 40,000 year. Wait, that's not much comparing us with other schools. Is
I
it?
remember it more expensive.
Okay,
Parang I feel
me
like
too. I felt like you had to pay millions for it. I felt like my service on how how I deliver my socksai feels more than that.
yeah,
Anyways,
I thought it was like 100K per year at
really?
least. Parang at
Okay,
least parang
again, we're not it's not us saying that cheap lang pala. But it's more on saying that there are people that can't afford that. That's why they're
hmm,
stuck with the scholarship. But I didn't know it was just 40 a year. But
no.
again, isang bagsakan yun. Like you have to pay it. Hello?
Uh,
You have to pay it for in a lump sum.
I don't know.
Or you can discuss it on
No,
how to pay it.
basta mahal.
IOUs. Yeah, it is expensive again.
Hmm.
Uh but yeah, okay, this is the part where we get canceled, I guess. A lot of people say that it's kind of unfair that you have to pay Pisai for that much amount when you opt to follow your dreams and stream. I had it in my mind on how I was gonna continue this. It's it's equal exchange kasi the quality of education that you receive is really has to be tantamount to what you receive, and how much you had spent, how much you have learned supposedly is could have been gone to someone else. I know it's along the lines na kumain ka ng dinner mo kundi may nagugutom dyan sa Africa. I know it kind of sounds along that, but it is because that slot could have been used for someone else to serve the Filipino people. Now, it's also kind of unfair now that I think of it to say, what if it was Pisay itself that had cost? Because there are many factors why you might not want to enjoy STEM anymore. One would be the mental stress that you would have throughout the 6 years. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely something that a lot of students say.
And
Or,
I think the admin actually does have an exit clause that they can waive. I'm not sure. They can actually waive depending on the circumstances involving the student. Now, if the student died in the middle of the term and they don't ask for it, they do understand that it's something that cannot be evaded. So,
or if you flunk out, that also no.
oh yeah, if you flunk out, that's another thing. Like the school gambled on you and it didn't go well. So, ayun. Now, we really need to know your thoughts because this is the thoughts of millennials, me and Sir Tarcy. Not boomers, okay? Please, not boomers. But we wanted to know what your thoughts on this is because we're not here to change your mind about this, but we're here to tell you again, this channel is all about what millennials, I can't say it, what people like me and Sir Tarcy think about these things on how we treat our students, how we view the system. And it was funny that we were able to relate it to a gacha system that it's not that we see, oh, 5-star yan, oh, 4-star yan, but more on the relatability on the chances that the government spends on. And is it moral? Because we want a system that why not all public high schools have that kind of system, right? But again, it's all about where you prioritize the funds. We're not a rich country. We have to figure out where to allocate these funds for specific purposes. Oh, we do have arts, an actual arts high school, and I kind of know someone that actually flunked out of it. Sadly, uh, maybe the same reasons too in relation to what PSI students feel, the burnout. So it's something that we kind of want to understand. What are your thoughts relating to it? Okay, Mark, your turn.
Okay. Well, I mean, our intention here isn't parang to, I
Oh,
don't know.
Nathan's calling us out. You say you guys probably should have researched this beforehand.
Yeah, we probably should have. Okay,
Weekly episodes, by the way.
Okay. So this isn't up like I know. At least what we're going for isn't like a pro school stance or an anti-student stance or whatever. We just what we're trying to go for here is more like a more sober outlook on what the relationship between the students and the school.
Is it sober? You were thinking of a system where we exploit the school as well. They exploit us, we exploit them as well. So
and Nathan's right. We've kind of touched on this a lot before actually, so you don't really have much of an excuse. But okay, so as much as we can argue that okay, definitely education is a right. Everyone has a right to education. Unfortunately, you cannot demand the kind of education that you want. So as much as we try to provide a good education for you, or or rather the government is going to try and provide a good education for you, uh, they can't please everyone, and they can only afford to provide so much of a quality of an education for certain individuals. And so happened the government decided that, okay, let's invest a certain amount to this special high school that will cater to all of those who have shown a particular aptitude in the maths and science. And yeah, you guys were able to avail of that. Where was I going?
But
okay, so you have
we
that.
don't have a script that.
So you have that school, and yun nga,
Set up. We have that set up.
so again, a more sober outlook that I suppose maybe sometimes we have it in we have our idea of an ideal education, which is good to have, honestly. And we should always aim to have better ideals for education. But at the same time, it might not necessarily match the ideals of those that they're working with, and yeah, that's it's a difficult part in which you're kind of trying to mix and match those things. That's not to say that they're against each other. So of course, even though the goal of the school is to produce STEM students, I'm sure that they would also like to provide good education in general, regardless of if you're a STEM student or not. It's just that, yeah, parang in aiming for that goal, parang we'll also hit a few other goals as well. Parang your goals match my goals so far as this part, then okay, we can cooperate. But again, we still have our own goals, and so there's going to be some kind of conflict. I think it's hard to understand because school is kind of like an abstract entity rather than, because if we were talking about people, this would be, I think, more understandable. Imagine like someone some celebrity and an artist, and then you have those two working together. So okay, maybe the celebrity commissions the artist has a particular style, and then they kind of butt heads across. The celebrities wants this particular style, but the artist wants to express himself in this particular way. They're definitely going to butt heads. But yeah, it's they have to work it out. So and we understand that each person in that scenario has their own reason to ask what they want. So, for example, the artist, even though he's a fan, he definitely has a right to ask to be paid. The celebrity, being the one to commission it, definitely has the right to kind of make certain demands on what the output is going to be. So there's a lot of kind of magtitimpla ka ng expectations in a certain sense. Anyway, you wanna interject while I'm rambling?
No. I do understand, and I hope people could help us understand this as well. That this is how our view on it as well. As much as we would want to entertain modernity, we want to adjust to how other, because we get a lot of feedback from students that hindi ganito yung high school compared with other schools, such as they have more electives in the humanities, they have more freedom when it comes to club activities, they have more freedom when it comes to, it feels so restrictive with regard to the school that you have to relate it to STEM in some way. But the objective is that that's how the school is created and intended for. Now, we want to try to adjust, like mental health suddenly became an important aspect just a few years ago. And we're good that the school is learning about mental health, not because it's just mandated by the law, but we're trying to adjust as much as possible on the student level up to the admin level. Those are small changes, but when it comes to the curriculum it seems so hard because like what happened recently that some students were pushing for bawasan yung curriculum ng Pisay, and it's a whole big process that's involved because you have to go at the national level in order to consider, because these are tax people's money that you're using. People are expecting that we create these students to become scientists in the future, and that we have to reason out why we have to remove some subjects, why have to we add more subjects. Val Ed was one of them that was considered, why do we have to add that, but that was a government mandate. But with the pandemic, it was a huge problem for us to think, what do we need to remove, what do we need to add. So in relation to that, how do we say in relation to that?
I'm
In
not sure where you're
relation to
going
that,
with
we're
that.
stuck with that system. We're really just stuck with what the school wants. And what Mark was trying to say was that if the school doesn't budge, we try to exploit it as much as we can. If we can get advantages out of it, go for it. But if the disadvantage is just too great in for us at a personal level that we won't be able to see ourselves getting the exploits of it, maybe it's time to consider a different path. But at least for us, we think now that Pisay is opening up more courses as to what they would consider STEM courses. I think we have students are in game development. Am I right?
Uh,
The game
I'm
development was actually considered as a one of the new courses that was adopted by psychology. Back then wasn't considered actually.
nope. Mm,
Now it's considered. So
mm.
hopefully we see Pisay in the future, as you also, as our alumni and our current students, to see this as something that in a different way, something that you can exploit, exploitable as much as possible. Because as much as they're exploiting you, exploit it back, I guess.
Okay, less. Okay, to end it on a less negative note, let's not use the word exploit anymore. I only use that kind of prove a point, pero it's mutualism. Parang, the school needs something, I have, you have it. You need something, the school has it. So, I mean, there is some room for cooperation. Uh, and of course, even if you're going to cooperate, you still have your own goals that you have to meet, that you want to achieve. And yeah, it's well within your rights to at some point you're going to say na, no, I can't keep on working with this person anymore, and then go on your own way. Now there's the issues na, okay, parang if you leave midway, if we're using the school as an example, if you leave midway, then you have to pay back. I mean, yeah, it sucks. It sucks that you have to. Of course, you can just flunk out on purpose, and then that's a loophole. But yeah, it's again, it makes sense if we're using like more individual stand-ins. Na okay, if I commission an artist to do something, but I don't use his artwork, should I still pay him? I mean, seems kind of fair that I do, that I pay the artist, because he's already done the work, so it's only right. So the same way the school has educated you for a number of years, it seems only right that we pay the school for those years. Of course, we can argue about our willingness and all of these things, but again, those are arguable terms. Meaning to say, because they're arguable, it means there is some sense to why it is there, or why it is that way. But yeah, again, less on the negative side. Again, we're quote unquote using each other. Well, mutualistic again, where there are benefits that the other person has that we can benefit from. So as they are trying to reach their goal, they can kind of take us along for the ride, and we can also help contribute and take them along for the ride. So, yun. Hang on. Exploit the system, but don't let it exploit you. That's what do you say about that?
Mutualism. I like that. I think we use the word exploit too much. But yeah,
Uh,
if you can take as much, no. I think that Nathan does have a point there. Take as much advantages as it can offer you, but the moment that it becomes disadvantageous to you, reconsider your options.
mm,
Okay, yun na lang. Okay, now for the most awaited part, the Tarsi Talks forum. This was just the prelude to. I'm so sorry. Honestly, this might have been a half baked topic that we were thinking in our minds that we didn't know that was relating to previous topics. So, our bad. We're thinking of ways to refresh. We need new topics, honestly, from the students. We can really thresh it out, but we need you to comment on the topic suggestions. Otherwise, we're going to just play Among Us next stream too, or a Holy Week special because it's Holy Week. No one would want to watch that, so please give topics. But maybe a gaming stream just to have a little bit of. Nathan did call us out on that. Uh, would we share the Tar Stocks form?
yeah, go ahead.
I think this is the only good that we can actually provide. So, Tar Stocks. And we're running out. We're already on the 10 out of 12. So if you want to add, please add.
Did we go over this?
We didn't.
It sounds
This is
familiar.
new. There's D&D.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, hang on, give me a sec. Oh wait, the sprites aren't working. Oh, there we go. Okay, so dear Sir Tarcy, I find it hard to socialize this quarantine. I'm a very extroverted person, but I have extreme social anxiety. It is not unusual for me to stutter or trip down on my words when I am talking to people. Texting is fine for me, but once I am in a call, I will be sweating bullets until the session is over. At the start of the pandemic, I joined a group with people I do not know to play D&D. The whole experience was nerve-wracking, and I just could not fully enjoy the game. I would always worry about what I should say, or if what I said was dumb. It really tires me down. As an experienced adult, I would like to see your spin on the topic of trying to get new friends or tips on talking to strangers. Okay, I can't help
Oh
here. You're going to
no.
have to, you're going to have to do this.
No. Why not you? Okay, share your experience. Why not you?
I'm, I'm not a sociable person. Uh,
Would you
okay,
relate to this
as
person
as
actually?
an experienced adult, uh, my my spin on the topic of trying to get new friends or tips on talking to strangers is that it is difficult. I mean, honestly, it really is. Honestly, this. I mean, I guess it really depends on your personality, but yeah, parang I'm also one of those people who finds it hard to make friends. I'm normally the one who gets adopted by friends rather than making friends myself. And now that I'm in a situation in which I don't get to meet many people, then it's very hard to keep up any relationship. Um, but
Is it
okay.
bad?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say it's bad? Like, is there a need to actually meet new people in our age, state, place in life?
I mean, I think it's good. Parang at very least,
It
even
helps.
though I
Mhm.
am introverted, parang I do enjoy the company of other people. It's super hard to meet them. It's super hard to be friendly with other people. So as much as I enjoy company, parang it's more like I like being a wallflower. But to be a wallflower, there needs to be people around me, and nowadays there isn't a lot of that. Um, so okay, but for this person, with extreme anxiety. So even though they're extroverted, they have social anxiety. Um, and I guess one thing that I'd like to say is, yeah, I mean, don't worry about the whole. Uh, it's nerve wracking, or rather, I I get the feeling that uh, you're kind of worried how you come off. Which I don't know, it's legitimate. Parang, you can definitely worry about how other people perceive you, but at the same time, it's something that's out of your control. You cannot control how other people perceive you, so worrying about it is just tiring you out. So rather than exert effort into uh, that idea of how do people see me, just try to notice. Try to notice what are your ticks, what are the things that you'd like to kind of reduce, or certain habits that you think might be off-putting, and work on them. And I think, honestly, I think it should be a bit more normal that you can just ask people na, parang, oh, okay, maybe we think we have a tick that is annoying. You can ask people, oh, by the way, this thing that I do is, do you find it off-putting? Uh, and yes, it will hurt if they say yes, parang, or if they actually provide that honest feedback na, uh, okay, actually, this thing that you do, parang I find it distracting. But I mean, it's better that we hear it from them, that they're being honest, and we can use it as a way to improve, rather than parang the anxiety of they're talking behind our back, and parang so I mean, might as well be try to be upfront about it. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I was gonna ask if would it be best if you like to ask for feedback with regard to how you behave? Because in this scenario, but you did answer it. So okay, wala nang wala nang may dadagdag. But in what manner would you ask that feedback? G forms,
No,
uh what what are the modern ways of asking feedback? Um oh, there's Curious Cat. I think that's something familiar on Twitter, like the anonymous thingy.
I don't know. I kind of feel like
If you hide
you're
it behind
trying to
anonymity,
no, I kind of feel like if you're trying to actually bond with these people, parang you do kind of have to talk to them. Parang now this person said he's more comfortable with text, so if that's the case, then yeah, text. Parang
text, yeah.
text na, hey, about that session that we had earlier. Parang did I come off okay, or parang ano, so yeah, that's something you can do.
Actually, I can relate that much to this person that I'm not that much of an extrovert. I'm very introverted. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
Mark doesn't
Mm-hmm.
agree. It's just that inuunahan ko na. Like I make sure that they're okay with me talking, but when I have nothing else to say, at least I can say, "Oh, I already said my part. Okay, na go on." Uh, it's just my way of showing my nervousness is that I talk a lot. I word vomit, I word dump, and so on and so forth. So that uh, after I say my part, tapos na, wala na akong kailangan idagdag. Uh, but in relation to this, meeting strangers, what would be a good opener when you meet strangers? How's the weather?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you go to common things? Now, the
I
thing
mean,
is, talking about common things, it feels weird because you're going to try to find what both of you are on the same page on. Honestly, try asking them what they like and just listen. That's one of the things that I really enjoy is that, and I think I practice a lot with my barber. Just try to active listen, try to ask them what they're interested, and see you try to pick up what they're really passionate about. So when it comes to talking with strangers, don't be afraid on what you might share, but try to practice listening so that you can pick up on those things. And even if you don't agree, just let them keep on talking about it so that you know how they are and how you can ease into the conversation. That's my tip. That's what I do actually personally. And it always starts with or it's usually about the weather. Really, it helps. Promise from weather you can talk about electricity as the use of aircon, as the use of how much water you drink in a day, to the sleeping habits, onto later on global warming. And there's a lot of things that you can get from how's the weather, honestly. And yeah, that's it. That's how we can close off our stream.
well, I mean, you're already in a D&D group, so might as well ask something D&D related. So,
No, well, yeah. How's the weather in D&D like that? No,
mm,
I went. But yeah, that's true. If you're in a D&D group, you can be tutored or you can try to talk about things that in common.
Wait, how many more questions are there? Well, let's just
Two
finish it.
more.
Two more.
No, it's already 9:58. We need to save this for this can save us two more episodes. So
Fine. All right.
how do you exit? No, how do you exit full screen mode? Oh, I'll just stop.
Just stop sharing.
No, there. Okay. Thank you. I know it was such a clickbait title, but
Honestly, I like the title. Parang
maybe we didn't work on it. But let us know your thoughts. If was the title just too cringeworthy, or was it we're
I
kind of
mean,
up because
it
it's
just
you. You're related to yourself. Do you feel like you're a 4-star, a 3-star,
okay.
a
Okay,
1-star?
if ever
There's
I
seven
would,
stars in FGO. FGO
I
ba 7 stars?
I don't know, but okay. I would say na if you get to Bisaya, you are already a 5-star. It's just na sometimes you're pulling for a kind of 5-star. You know how parang there are some 5-stars that are DPS, there are some 5-stars that are support. So parang yun nga, parang you're in Bisay, so you're super smart. Parang educating you will only be parang be super beneficial. But the school is looking for a certain kind of they're looking for STEM, whereas you are a 5-star arts person, you are a 5-star humanities person. So parang
Oh,
yeah, it just so happens na okay, yeah, nakita nila na gold star, lumabas na yung gold star, pero oops, humanities. So ang gagawin
you're
dyan,
5-star in your own way.
you lost the 50-50, or at least Pisay lost the 50-50 on the roll.
It's besides loss actually. At least you got to figure out what you really want. Okay, just hang in there. By the way,
Okay.
speaking of 5-star,
Mm.
for our chat as well, are you rolling for Ayato or are you rolling for the new girl, the one that a lot of people are simping over for?
Which one?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember who it was. I have it in chat. What was her name?
Is there a
Oh,
new one?
anyone in? Yeah. Kaka-announce lang. A lot of
Uh,
people are noticing her. Yeah, yes. For who? Ayato or the girl? What's her name?
Shinobu?
Yilan.
Yulan.
Okay, proper spelling so that I'm not sure kung excited lang ba kayo or talagang gano'n karaming A or N yung waiting for a Honkai collab. Oh, that's Sir Tarcy. Sir Tarcy actually plays Honkai Impact. So, hmm, Tarcy, Mark.
Not sorry. I
he
can't see that
has
now.
he has no comment on
I
Honkai.
I can't see that now.
Anyways,
Okay.
Yila, daming N. So yeah, that's her. If you can Google search, um, mukhang everyone's dropping husbando Ayato for Yilan. I wonder how you pronounce it. Anyways, there's also a ninja girl, I think. She looks ninja, the 4-star with her.
Mm.
But anyways, that's the amount of Genshin Impact that we would talk honestly. Because I still have to do my economy after this. I still have one more day. Uh, but yeah, please help us out, by the way, in the stream. If you could give us topics or if you want to play a game with us, we have Phasmo. We actually have phasmophobia, but we don't know how to relate it to in a moral sense that you know, uh, exercising ghosts is a chore, but we have to do it in our lives. But we're still thinking of the script of that. But anyways, that's it. That's it for a Monday. A Monday of the last of the hell week of third quarter. Next week is going to be periodic exams for our PSI students, and then it's going to be Holy Week. So hang in there. It's already April this week. April about this week, right?
Yep.
So watch out for those April 1st pranks and April celebrants, I guess. I don't know. What are things big in April?
Yeah, pretty
Basta
much
mga
Holy
last
Week.
days of campaigning. Yeah, Holy Week. So yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining us. And we hope that you kind of enjoyed. I know it's like a paradigm shift supposedly. We're not sure if it reached that far or we messed it up midway, but uh thank you for joining us and especially commenting. It really helps us out in the thresh hashing out what are the things that you guys think about. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon. And we will see you. We don't have an outro. We have to have an outro.
We do have an outro.
Oh
Nalilipit siya,
yes.
no?
Okay. Anyways, thank you everyone and good luck. Good luck to everyone.
Right. What he
See,
said. Okay, bye-bye.
bye everyone.